And welcome to the We Lie Sportz Podcast. What a weird Wednesday it's been, that's for sure. The snow, the rain, the melting, the Steelers and Ravens on a Wednesday. What a weird night, fellas. I'm brought to you with Peyton over there. Is that your name?
Yeah,
Peyton
that's my
and the
name.
one and only Riggs. I'm Parker Pierce. We have a really, really interesting show today. Lots to talk about.
Yes, we
First
do.
off, we're brought to you by CB Delight.
Keeps you calm.
I just need to be calm and collected after that wild, crappy, sloppy, turnover-ridden game by the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens.
Exactly.
The first Wednesday game in how long? And that's what they put on the field, fellas.
Exactly. I mean, but at the same time, those guys had 10 days with no practices. And watching that game, I've seen a lot of Baltimore Ravens defenders get cramped up very easily on the sidelines after routine plays where there were barely any contact. So it shows you that practice is very, very important. I think Robert Griffin III, after the injury he sustained tonight, he can definitely use some CBD Delight.
Isn't it Delight Cafe CBD, guys? I'm pretty sure the website is even on there, and you guys always butcher the name. But eventually you guys will get it right if you say it enough times. And are you drinking coffee?
Yes. No, actually, it's water in a coffee cup.
But I thought it was coffee. But yeah, notice how I'm ignoring the fact that you guys were trying to talk crap about the Steelers that are 11-0. I mean, this is a game that only happened because if you don't end up playing this game, you don't get paid. Everybody wanted to get paid.
Of course.
Like you guys saw, Lamar Jackson isn't on the field because COVID-related outbreak BS.
Mm-hmm.
You name any other position, the Steelers had to deal with it too. They had 4 COVID test positive.
Who'd they miss? Tuitt?
Marquise Pouncey, their center, to it, I think.
But other than that, you still came away with a victory.
Yeah, and it's
Baltimore
just
Ravens
what you
were
have to
missing
go through
27 guys, and I'm pretty sure 7 of which were Pro Bowlers and 9 of which were starters. They've lost to COVID since November, like 15th.
Their one running back, Gus. No disrespect, Gus, whatever his name is.
Gus Edwards, I think.
Exactly. I had no clue who he was until this afternoon's game, which really shows you the depth chart of some NFL teams. You know what I'm saying?
You said this afternoon. It's just funny to hear this afternoon on a Wednesday that there's football being played. That should have happened last Thursday for a Thanksgiving game. But, I mean, this is just what the cards have been dealt this year for 2020.
Upside down year we're having, everybody.
And to top it off, too, like, imagine would there have been fans at this game if fans were allowed for a Wednesday afternoon football game? Or would they have scheduled it differently?
Middle of the work
They do
week.
it on Thursdays?
But Thursday nights. Monday nights.
Okay,
not
I'm
3
sorry.
o'clock on a
I'm sorry.
Wednesday.
Look.
Ooh.
Each city only gets 8 home games a year. That's like a playoff team getting their playoff home games in the MLB. There's those 2 o'clock games that are still sold out. I'm sorry, this is an important NFL matchup, and the NFL reigns supreme in the sports world in America. And I have no doubt that game would have still been sold out.
Oh yeah, and I look at it like this. Let's say if fans were allowed in that stadium today, and the world wasn't in the way that we are in now, I guarantee some bosses out there are football fans, and it's like, hell yeah, I got tickets to the game too. I'm trying to get out here early, just get work done, and we can all go down there together. So, important game, 10 days off, hell yeah. I mean, whose boss isn't that cool to let them get off work a little bit early? But enough about work.
It's just this year, like, I would imagine that they wouldn't have had a game at 3 o'clock, though.
Yeah, that's...
Because especially, like, TV ratings, too, like, you're literally... Being at the game is one thing, but you're not going to be able to watch that whole game because, I mean, most people work the 9 to 5.
You also got to think these teams are having a weird week and a half that they've gone through, and that extra night is going to pay dividends. Instead of getting home back to your families at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, they're at least getting home in a reasonable hour, another night to rest up, another night to get a full day practice in. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe on Friday they can start practicing again.
The thing is, I look at it, I'm like, well, why didn't they just give us this game on Thursday night? We can get a doubleheader Thursday night football game, but that would prolong these guys not playing and a practice. Will they be able to get a practice in on a Wednesday night?
They wouldn't be able to play in for a whole nother week. Now at least they can shimmy it around to where everybody's at least within the same week,
Mm-hmm.
It's just overall, everything's just super complicated. Obviously, I mean, how many times have the Cleveland Browns facility been shut down? I think this is like the fifth time.
It's been shut down, but they're still able to do their all their meetings. They're still able to do everything through Zoom and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just only a couple guys, like 3 at the most so far for the Cleveland Browns, and that's a big difference than 27
and like
that the Ravens had.
The thing
True.
is that like obviously with like any team getting shut down and losing players and whatnot because of COVID, the good thing is though is that the NFL hasn't canceled any games so far this year.
Or
Because
no
that was a huge threat because they've moved it around, but everybody's on the same week still. They're on week 13 now, officially, including the Steelers and the Ravens. But it's just the fact that over time that like they've been able to work this out the right way, because if a team like the Phillies, like look at baseball, Phillies missed 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's one game a day. They were so far behind, and they were playing double headers on the daily.
Yeah.
True.
So the NFL is doing as best as they can. This is everybody's playing in the same boat pretty much.
And you got to understand, everybody signed up for this when they agreed to play this season. They agreed to play through this. You had to expect that your team or the team you face is not able to play. Things are going to be shifted around. And I mean, there used to be a rule that if there was ever a forfeit in the NFL, both teams, all the players, did not get paid for that week. So that was an incentive to make sure you got your butt on the field. Now, obviously, things are a little different. So all this shimmying around, these players can't be upset because, you know what? They're not losing a week of pay.
I was hearing a lot of talk on our sports radio, our local sports radio affiliate here in Ohio, and they were saying, well, why don't they just forfeit the game? And like you said, they won't get paid. Even though these guys are millionaires, there's still bills and
bills don't stop.
Exactly. Bills don't stop. The holiday season is rolling around. And not just that, I don't think that's ever happened in the history. Out of 101 years of the National Football League, have they just said, hey, we're just going to forfeit a game. Not a tie. At least they played and it was shown on television. But a forfeit? Like, that's unheard of in any professional sports I can believe in.
Also, look at it this way, too, because not only do you have the chance that... You could read that. I can't.
I really could not read that.
But anyways, though, with the NFL, though, you have the NBA...
I think it said that the Steelers got 3 bye weeks. Or they should do 3 bye weeks. They what?
Right, we'll get back to it.
They skipped their bye week originally, so they actually... Intentionally, they got their bye week for a second time.
Yeah, because there's not... Now, I know exactly the route you're going with that, too, with the Steelers, because they have more time to rest, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. They're going to end up having the same amount of time that the Ravens ended up having with this whole entire layover, and the Steelers had to lose a game against the Titans. Having a bye week doesn't have you to a disadvantage because you aren't in game shape for 2 weeks. It's as if you're on missing time, for example, off work. Everybody missed work for 2-3 months.
Oh, yeah.
It was super weird waking up early when we were allowed to go back to work. So it's just...
Being out of work shape is a real thing. Like, not even if you're a professional athlete.
Though.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, though, with the NFL, you have the NBA lockout. They played a 60-game season. They missed 20 games back in 2012.
Yeah, it started on Christmas.
MLB hasn't had a lockout yet, but they've gotten close. The NHL has had a lockout. Look at that. In the NFL, there's always talks about it, but they get over it pretty quick because of this. You forfeit, you don't get paid.
Exactly.
I also think the reason the NHL is having a lockout right now is because a lot of teams are in Canada, and even the Toronto Blue Jays couldn't play their home games in Canada.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's the reason why the NHL is really having the difficulty of getting through the lockout. But, I mean... I just hope to get all sports back very, very soon. I'm sick of this Corona stuff, and I just want it to be over with. I'm sick of this stuff.
All right. I think that was a good discussion on Wednesday Night Football. Don't you guys think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We want to give a shout out to
Jim Blaylock, who said hi, guys.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. So we'll give him a shout out.
Nice. What's going on, Jim? How you doing?
Too long ago.
Right. Producer Brian Fluke, KM Voice. Shout out to the family and everybody with us. We want to thank everybody for joining us once again.
And we also want to thank Manscaped. Use the promo
What are you
code.
stealing Riggs' line for,
go.
dude? Are you serious?
Go.
I'm sorry, we're not going to break yet. So
but
That was just me just going with the flow there because that just made sense. But that's your thing. I'm sorry you have
No.
a copy written already. I know how serious you get offended when you don't get your Manscaped in.
You know,
Which, by the way, guys, I actually did Manscaped today.
I Manscaped too.
And I got super
I did over
close.
the weekend.
I got super close, and that no-cut technology, I'm like, I'm going to give it a try. Because if I end up having blood, I have blood. I'm like, we'll take that risk.
I'll tell you what, doing it in the shower is the best part. I mean, it's
I've
like,
never Manscaped in the shower.
I you know what? This is my first time doing it in the shower, and I risked it. And I'm
talking
like,
about
I'm like,
Manscaping,
man, this
right?
is scary. Like, I see all these, old school things about dropping toasters, in the bathtub, thinking I'm gonna electrocute myself. Nope, we're perfectly fine. No mess afterwards. All good, man. Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 works in the shower perfectly.
Also, I just ended up seeing on my counter too the ball toner and ball deodorant, and I'm like,
Oh, I like the ball toner.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm like, what's better than shiny balls?
Not gonna lie, after I Manscaped, I felt so much more lighter. I'm not lying.
Light
I
as a
promise you. I seriously I felt like a gazelle running through the house.
Man, I was gonna say something completely off color, but I'm not going to. It would have been bad. But anyways, for getting the ring, I think there's the possibility that Keith might be calling in. So he knows what's going on to a point. We'll see. We'll give him a call and we'll just see if he answers. We're gonna do this live on air.
Busy guy. Phone number was no.
Hopefully he doesn't yell at me.
Is he taking you down for the title?
No, he's calling in to figure out this BS between you and I. If he doesn't answer, this is so accurate for his life right now.
That'd be funny if he's watching and he's like, I'm not going to answer. I can see him doing that, and he's going to call in the middle of a hard segment.
Do
Watch.
you know if he has voicemail?
Your call has been forwarded to an automated
Womp
voice messaging
womp.
system.
All right, well, then I guess...
You weren't getting the phone number.
No answer.
All I know is that Riggs ended up getting the win last week against champion Peyton. And since, my undefeated streak...
You're
has
still
not been,
bitching about it. And
Look,
it's
it has not been
ridiculous.
verified. It has not been anything. So I think Riggs
We're still
should
waiting
definitely
on
get...
Riggs.
Riggs should definitely get... or Peyton should get a rematch, his title rematch now, to become the title holder again and face Riggs off. That way, until we figure out whether or not I did or did not lose my undefeated streak, I should not have to compete until then.
But I shouldn't have to compete either because I'm the champion.
No, you lost last week to Riggs. He's currently the
won.
interim.
I won.
You did not.
I won.
Oh yeah, that's right. It went to overtime.
Play the tape
Oh,
back.
correct.
Play the
So
tape
actually,
back.
so Riggs, either way, you still get another title shot this week.
Okay. So who's coming up with the question?
And Parker's
Well, it's
going
me.
to because it's going to be mano y mano.
Okay.
And the thing is that you were the one that last checked in on the count for the votes. What states are behind? Do you remember? I think Nevada's still right.
Nevada might still be behind, and I know those flaky Pittsburgh people in Pennsylvania, they're still a little because they like you, but at the same time, they don't want to seem too biased. And New York's got my back, so.
All right, so they're still being recounted. That's what hopefully
All right.
Keith would have called in
So
about, but
here's my question for
my
getting in the
phone's
ring
charging,
this
so
week.
make sure you have your timer out.
Okay, here's my question. I've been getting a lot of more recent questions getting thrown my way, when it comes to what's going on week by week. But I want to see if these two even know their NFL history. See what they think about this question. Since I know I have my obvious answer, but gentlemen, give me your reasons why, and you each got 30 seconds. Who is the greatest rookie running back in NFL history?
Hold on.
Right.
This is a question that you have to think about.
Is it? Because I just thought of it 20 seconds ago, and I knew exactly who I was picking.
And his rookie season.
All right, I think
I'll
Riggs
even
said,
let you go rookie and sophomore season.
I think Riggs said he's going first.
I mean, he's not the champion, so.
Yeah, so I get to pick. Champ goes second.
Wow. I'm really in my head going through a lot of running backs in my head.
Well, how about before we do this, how about we name off people within the last 3 years in general that have been rookie running backs recently.
Okay, I like that.
So we'll just label it, and then hopefully we have a whole entire grouping of them, and then we could choose. But I mean, you had Todd Gurley at one point that was a rookie. You got Saquon Barkley. You got Nick Chubb. You got Ezekiel Elliott. J.K. Dobbins this year, if you want to count that. Le'Veon Bell. James Conner.
All right, that's plenty, I think.
That's all within the AFC North, though, without Todd Gurley.
Ezekiel Elliott was in the AFC North?
80%. If you do the math.
Okay. Well,
we're just still going
Let's
first.
see who it is.
Okay.
Just give me a good quality player and give me enough reasons why you think he is. You don't have to agree with me. Just give me good reasons on why your opinion's right.
Okay. The first name that comes to my mind when we went off that list, I'm going to say is Todd Gurley. Because Todd Gurley, to me, when he came out in that draft, that was the one legit running back that I've heard so much about. And I'm like, well, his last name is Gurley. Does he really get picked on a lot? And that man does not run like a girl whatsoever.
He doesn't run like a girly.
Exactly. He's seen the Super Bowl. Out of everyone in his draft class, anyone that we just named off, have they seen the Super Bowl? He got to at least get a taste of it. Face Tom Brady. He's been on a bad. He's currently on a bad team right now with the Atlanta Falcons.
30 seconds.
He deserves better.
Damn. I got 3 for you there.
All right, and I'll be honest and I'll be fair and I'll let you time me too, so that I'm not timing myself. Brought to you by the extension cord. Anyways, though, what I'm going to do in return is I'm going to say why Nick Chubb is, or not Nick Chubb, but why Todd Gurley isn't the best rookie running back. I'll start off saying that, and then I'll give the person I think is the best rookie running back.
Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
And go.
So Todd Gurley is not the answer just because he was in a Super Bowl. That was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I mean, he's with Atlanta now, and Atlanta doesn't even... He had to have a one-year deal. The Rams released him for a reason. They didn't want him. He was damaged goods, and you get rid of damaged goods at the end of the day.
17 seconds.
Nick Chubb, on the other hand, he ended up having 3 breakout games in his first rookie year, and that was against teams that he didn't have much opportunities with because of Freddie Kitchens not giving any
seconds.
2 craps about him.
You got a 1.5 there, dude. First of all, the question was, who do you think's the best, not who you don't think is the best. Second of all, you said Nick Chubb, and you said he had his 3 breakout games, which was good. But then you brought up Freddie Kitchens, which was actually his sophomore season when Freddie Kitchens was the head coach.
But either way, though, with Freddie Kitchens, though, he did not have the run game, and then that.
Well, yeah, but that's his. No,
when your coach doesn't call plays for you, are you going to be successful?
He was successful his rookie year. He was, absolutely.
Not early on, though. He was having Carlos Hyde get the majority of the...
That's because Freddie Kitchens wasn't the offensive coordinator during that time.
And Duke Johnson.
It was your boy Todd Haley from Pittsburgh that was the offensive coordinator during the time when Nick Chubb was sitting on the bench.
We got Nick Chubb drafted in from Georgia.
And Duke Johnson was the backup.
Yep. We traded Duke Johnson to Houston.
At the second year. The first year, we ended up trading Carlos Hyde midseason to, I think, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so anyway.
Hold on. No,
because we got Ricky Seals-Jones tight end from the Cardinals, too.
Yes.
All right.
For a 1 year off, for one and done year.
2018 was Nick Chubb's first year.
Yep.
Which was whose first year... Which you said, this was 2018 when you had Hugh Jackson still as coach and Greg Williams. And Greg Williams had to finish.
Greg Williams.
Yeah, Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator, not the offensive coordinator. Freddie Kitchens was not the offensive coordinator. This is the team
in general.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson was doing both.
And at the time when he was on that roster, Nick Chubb, there was Duke Johnson. That next year, his sophomore year, was when he had his breakout opportunities. That was without Freddie Kitchens wanting him to play. Because he played one big rush.
He still played from week, I believe, 4 or 5 onwards, because he was a huge rookie running back as a rookie. With you're talking about a sophomore year. That's still his rookie year. He qualified for every statistic in his rookie season.
I thought you were going to say Trent Richardson
in that 2018 year.
So who do you have as the best rookie running back?
It's obviously Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson.
Also, this didn't count. I didn't lose my championship.
Holy crap!
He
on
was
that turf,
that didn't
he's got
count.
those goggles going. 2,000 yards.
Old school.
That's Eric Dickerson.
Old school, dude.
Freak among boys. I could also say maybe Bo Jackson.
Whoo, shit. Wow.
You can even throw Jim Brown in there.
See, I didn't want to be so biased with Jim Brown.
Those are guys who took over the league.
It sounds like more so like
Bo Diddley. How did I forget about Bo Diddley?
It seems more so that it's just the best running back in your opinion. That's what
no,
I
it's
feel
not. Bo Jackson was only around for like 2 or 3 seasons because he got hurt.
But the question was like the best rookie running back, and you're not always established as a rookie, and it just seems that like the guys like Jim Brown, like I feel like we can't give our opinion on Jim Brown's rookie year because it wasn't.
Oh, we got the
it
great
wasn't as much
debate.
in our lifetime.
True.
You guys have Kevin on here, Kevin Merron.
Kevin Merrill. What's up, K-Mer?
He would like to say AP.
Adrian Peterson.
I was hoping you guys, when you were throwing out names like of recent guys, that you would go that far back, but you didn't. AP had an incredible rookie season. That is for dang sure.
And then Jim Baylock also wanted to say, hey, now, if you're going to dog Pennsylvania, use those Philly guys.
They got good sandwiches.
Oh, yeah,
Look at this. Oh, my gosh. 1983, Eric Dickerson. 18 touchdowns, 1,808 rushing yards. Sophomore season, 2,105 rushing yards. Eric Dickerson took the league by storm.
What was Jim Brown's?
1,800
But Jim Brown played in the 60s.
Doesn't matter. It was all running back then.
I want to see what I'm curious. Come on, stats man. Gypsy Freebird, where you at?
I'm working on it.
So, in your opinion, everybody, for the
Call
We Like
Freebird
Sports
Jr.
Freebird Jr.
For the We Like Sports podcast, who is your favorite running back that had the best rookie or sophomore year?
Just make it simple. Your favorite running back, because I feel like that's what this question has turned into.
That's the problem. I'm dealing with guys around here that really don't know the intimate details about true, pure statistics. You guys weren't raised by a statistician like myself, being raised by Gypsy Freebird.
What's the stats on that? What was the exit velocity of that delivery?
So anyway, Jim Brown's rookie year, 942 yards, 9 touchdowns. Sophomore year, a lot better.
But I feel like that, the rookie question overall.
So I think Peyton's just upset that he is no longer the interim champion of Get in the Ring.
When you were blabbing, I literally looked at Riggs and I went, I'm still champion. Because that didn't count, because you didn't know how to count. Because I was giving 2 parts of a question, giving you more information than before. And you're just too much of a chicken shit to get by.
Producer Brian, was he not giving me 2 different parts to a question? Yet one of those parts was not related to the question. I would have
saved that. Why? I would have saved the one that you rebuttal against my running back. I would have saved that for last after your 30 seconds.
Well, actually, you know what? I did, but I have also in the past have been very rude about, dogging back, and you guys give me the points for that. So I guess I'll give you an extra 2.5. We got a tie.
There we go. I told you that.
There we go. And we just gotta wait for a certain phone call. And
you think he still watches us?
I forgot about all those times that you jabronis would give me points for just dogging the other one.
From what I see here, you guys got 10 on Facebook, 2 on Twitter,
sick.
and 3 on Twitter.
And we hope one of them's Keith.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
What are we doing after getting the ring? What are we jumping into, fellas?
We're going to be jumping into college football for a little bit before we go into our first break. But college football-wise, Ohio State ended up having their game against Illinois this past Saturday canceled after going into it, assuming that they were going to play.
No football.
Ryan Day ended up having COVID, testing positive. Then from there, just a bunch of stuff happened, and you just went downhill super quick. Everything got shut down. It looks good that they're going to be playing this week, but who knows? I mean, that's any given Saturday at this point, not even in a good way in football related, but anybody could catch COVID any given Saturday.
This happened, but can we be completely honest? Are we really that upset about it? I mean, this was
upset because Ohio State might end up not being in the college football playoff.
No. I don't think it's going to affect them. I mean, gosh, Clemson they're giving a bye because they're missing Trevor Lawrence.
He hasn't played since my birthday.
So
No, he played
I'm not
last
worried
week.
about the
Did he?
I'm not worried
Yeah.
about the ratings when it comes to that, with them being in the top 4 for the college football playoff. I'm just okay with it because that was a garbage game. It was Illinois, who's been horrendous this year, and you got Ohio. That's the type of game where Justin Fields goes in and ends up just stepping wrong and he's out for a few weeks. Like, that's the type of game that's like, okay, if we could just skip this, I would be okay with that. And we get to, now we're off to Michigan State, and then we got Michigan, and
Then it's the Big Ten championship.
and then it's the Big Ten champ. And you know what? Hey, as long as we're back on the field this week and we can keep going, I don't think it's going to affect us whatsoever.
Not just that. I mean, those guys getting their game canceled, it could be a blessing in disguise. They're still college football players. They still go to classes and do types of work. So that could have been time that they missed on hitting the books because knowledge is power and education is everything. So let's get that out the way. So,
But the thing is, though, is going back to like the Clemson situation with their football team, you have to end up remembering that they were scheduled to play a full season, not 6 games like Ohio State. So even with Clemson missing 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're at whatever. If they end up finishing the full season, they're at 7-0, and meanwhile Ohio State is at 6-0, and that's their limit. Or I don't even think it could be that, because I think it would be 5-0, because they're 3-0 right now. But with canceled games, you're getting more of a situation that Ohio State, which already has been bumped before, will get bumped again because it's Ohio State. They play the right amount of games for the committee to be like, that was actually an improvement, a team that I'd rather watch, but I only saw 5 games of them. Also, on another note, Jim Blaylock ended up saying that, Mr. Pierce, you are correct. We weren't raised by statisticians. Therefore, my favorite running backs have been Ernest Biner and Jerome Bettis.
damn, the bus. That's another good one.
But he had to throw in that plug for your math skills.
Oh, yeah. It's all about the stats, baby. Just the stats. That's all that really matters. That's what produces championships. is the
Numbers don't
stats.
lie.
Numbers don't lie.
I'm thinking Scott Steiner right now.
Because you know why? You know what the most important stat is? The win column.
Yeah, that is true.
And stats produce the stat of the win.
So I'm trying to think from like a stats standpoint. Stats are records, and at the end of the day, what is your favorite record amongst like sports? Is it the 56-game hit streak? Is it the 763 home runs by Barry Bonds? Even though he did...
773.
Oh, is it really? No.
Yes, because... Oh, wait. Yeah,
You might be right. Hold on.
My favorite win
But the best
streak.
record or...
That's what I was going to go record. I believe it was the one year the Cavaliers went 66-16.
That doesn't add up.
What?
82 games. Oh, wait,
That's-
hold on. I thought 60-16.
Yeah,
That would
but
be 76. He was right.
That's not a record, though.
Was it 66?
And it was 762.
Well,
for
that's a
Barry
record
Bonds.
for just the Cavs, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like
No,
that,
we're talking about like
All-time
individual
record.
record.
Oh, I don't know. You're gonna have to go
I
on
think
that
my
one.
favorite record of all time is the fact that Joe Thomas played that 10,000 plus snaps in a row. I think that just being an Iron Man. I mean, Cal Ripken did it too, but I mean, baseball, you expect that out of everybody to play at almost 150 games a year. I mean, they played in the NFL as an offensive lineman year in and year out and did not miss a snap, let alone a game, let alone a quarter.
On a bad team at that.
I mean, there's been times where Cal Ripken, in his 2,000 game consecutive streak, was pulled out of the game. He was pinched hit for. He was pinched ran for.
Okay.
And
Joe
that's why on
Thomas
the
did
flip
not
side-
miss
A good streak?
single snap.
I got
snap
one.
at
Hold
all.
on. So on the flip side, that's why I say Joe DiMaggio is better than Joe Thomas's streak, because Joe DiMaggio, that had a 56-game hit streak, that's 56 consecutive games, and that's even, if you play any video games, if you play or watch any baseball whatsoever, if you're 0 for 3, you could get pinch hit at any moment, and that means your streak is over, and you don't have control.
Yeah,
over
but you're
that.
not pinch hitting for Joe DiMaggio ever.
Mine. Okay, I'm gonna go.
But overall, though, sorry for cutting you
Oh, no,
off,
you're
but
good.
With the whole entire thing, though, you have that opportunity that you might end up getting pulled at any moment. You could have an injury, and that just screws up, because if you were 0 for 2, and let's say you broke your arm or you threw your arm out and you're just dead, like your arm's dead, you're going to be snapping that streak again for 56 games in a row, then to have it break and then continue another streak right afterwards. That's why Francisco Mejia ended up being so popular in the Cleveland system, because in the minor leagues he had just as long of a hit streak.
I don't know who that is. Probably someone backing out. I remember a Thursday night TNT basketball game. It was when Ray Allen passed Reggie Miller's 3-point record, and right after that, they stopped the game. Reggie Miller got off the right off the announce table, dapped up Ray Allen, had a moment, and the game continued on. And I remember watching that because I wasn't a fan of Ray Allen at that time or the Boston Celtics, but I recognized what good game was and the spirit of good competition.
But I feel like that's like the coolest thing to watch is like when you end up seeing like records that are broken, because it's always like people within our lifetime. Like if we see somebody that breaks a record, like we all saw Barry Bonds break a home run record for Hank Aaron that was way before our lifetime. So if somebody was able to beat Barry Bonds' record, and let's say they don't do roids, that'd be something that like down the line even our kids could be like, and that'd be their lifetime. And then somebody else has like Ken Griffey Jr. the Fifth. Whatever, like always records being broken in different lifetimes.
You know what's a record that I'm gonna throw out there as honorable mention just because of how much better the MLB catcher has gotten is, and also the pitchers, they're throwing much harder. They're more deceptive in their movements. They're more deceptive in picking guys off and holding guys and stuff. Is Ricky Henderson's steals record for a single season.
140.
The leading steal holder in the AL and NL this year combined was not even half of what Ricky Henderson's was.
But
it was insane.
Well, that's one of our topics just went to the can. We'll get to that after this break, but to go back to the Ricky Henderson thing, it just always seems that the stolen bases, it's always the numbers are pretty high, though. Like it's normal to have 70, 80 steals in a season, especially if you're fast.
Yeah.
So that's always something, but it's not going to be 140-some stolen bases like Ricky Henderson.
Keep talking. I'm going to see what he actually had.
But I want to say it's 142, but Brandon Croucher even commented, too, and this goes regarding your math skills. He said 789, though. That's why I get nervous with numbers. He doesn't get it.
I got a funny joke, but I'm going to save it for off air.
Oh, boy.
About 789.
So you're going to find the number of stolen bases, and then we're going to go to break, or what's the deal? Man.
Well, just brought to you by CBD Delight Cafe.
Delight Cafe
CBD.
Well, to give everyone a preview, what we're going to talk about after the break is LeBron James and an extension. You're gonna hear our thoughts and our opinions on that when we get back from the break.
Yep, and the Cavs possibly building for the better until like minutes ago. But then also we're gonna end up talking a little bit more probably about Ohio State's upcoming matchup against Michigan State.
130.
I was close. I was 12 off. But anyways, Riggs, what did you do today?
Well, what I did 3 days ago was I manscaped, but I used the promo code Sports with a Z, SPORTZ, ball toner, ball shaver, ball deodorant, that lawnmower, baby, 3.000. Manscaped, shave your balls. We'll be right back on the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Tone them balls, too.
Manscaped, use the promo code SPORTS with a Z, SPORTZ, ball toner, ball deodorant, ball shaver, and you get a nice bag to shave your hairy bag. Manscaped. Hey there. We're ready. And we are back here on the We Like Sportz Podcast with myself, Riggs, Peyton Vince, Professional Parker Pierce.
And Gabe Spiegel, if you're wondering. Riggs, like sports, right? That's a Twitter handle?
Yes.
Or like sports, Riggs wants to know if before you go back on air, do you flip off the camera? Because he just did that and he was curious. I just had to call him out on it.
I did catch it.
Okay, so we're going to get back to some NCAAF. What did we leave off on? Was it Michigan this Saturday, right?
Michigan State this Saturday.
Michigan
yeah.
State, okay, so that's not the Wolverines, but the Spartans.
Yes.
Yep.
See,
All right, so who are the Spartans facing this Saturday?
The Ohio State Buckeyes. That's who they're facing this Saturday. You goofball. No, I mean, to be completely fair when it comes to Riggs not knowing that, the Michigan Spartans have been an absolutely atrocious since they've, I mean, gosh, look at all the guys they've lost over the years. Brian Hoyer, Kirk Cousins, who's that kid from Medina
Connor
they had?
Cook they
Connor
had?
Cook. Ever since
the guy
Connor
from
Cook left,
Medina?
Michigan State's been an absolute disaster.
Man, Michigan State. Ugh.
Do
So
they ever worry you? I mean, they always end up coming out with, they always have some draft picks, some like really sneaky, you know, like running backs and cornerbacks.
I think this game, everybody wanted to talk about Indiana and Ohio State, how much of an important game that is. This is going to be more important, I think, because now you're coming down to crunch time. If this game gets canceled, Ohio State will only have 5 wins, assuming they play against Michigan the following week. But you have to play them. You have to win against them. Michigan State always ends up being a surprise that time. Indiana surprised you. You didn't practice as much. You didn't have Ryan Day, that's your head coach, around you as much. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge than you'd expect about 4 weeks ago. That's the issue.
Sounds about
I agree.
right.
I agree. You know, speaking about hopefully if they play Michigan, you think that Jim Harbaugh, I can't even say his name. I hate him so much. Do you think he's got something hidden up those khaki slacks of his that he's gonna go out and get COVID purposely? That way he could be the first Michigan coach in well over 10 years to not lose to Ohio State in a single year.
I mean, that's kind of like the excuse, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. The bully's going to beat me up and going to fake sick. So, I mean, that's a cop-out for Coach Harbaugh. I mean...
Can I say the one time that my one friend back in high school, maybe even middle school, goes back to the fighting thing. It's kind of funny. But there's this one time that I was just talking so much crap because I was on that day.
Sounds like your softball nights.
Yeah, it probably about equal. But
You're
he was,
toxic, dude.
Britney Spears knows. But anyways, the thing is like he was just getting super pissed at me. He was like, you know what? He's like, meet me at Tuxedo Park after school, blah, blah, blah. Or else it was like the next day after school and I didn't talk to him at all. Next day I go into school. I'm like, why weren't you there? Like, I was there. Why weren't you there? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, after we were cool, I'm like, I wasn't there either, man. I'm like, I didn't show. I'm like, I wasn't wasting my time.
Hey,
I'm
Brian,
sorry.
Brian, is Peyton even in the shot? He looks like Big Sean over there doing the lean back. Lean back.
Now I'm in the shot. Oh, man. But anyways,
Who doesn't have a shot? Michigan beating Ohio State.
Michigan State.
That's
Michigan
right.
State.
Who are they playing this week?
They're playing the OHIO Buckeyes.
That's
So-
right. So, going in, continuing with college football, and we were talking about Clemson not having Trevor Lawrence for a few weeks. How do you think he did in his return, and does Clemson still look like a top 4 team?
I didn't see his return.
I didn't see his return either. I just know that they won. I'll pull up the stat line really quick because that's what us statisticians do.
I mean, he looked like the old Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he looked fine. I mean,
Like he didn't skip a beat at all.
yeah, not much. I mean, Clemson's had their fair share of
Oh.
close games, and
Trevor Lawrence, 26 of 37, 403 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, 52-17.
he was just fine. Like I said, Clemson's they seem to not have any issues. You know, they always coast their way. I think they had 2 years ago when Trevor Lawrence was a freshman. I think they won 20-17 against North Carolina on like a last-second field goal. It was some like that. That's like the only game they've had that seems to be close. Because I mean, they are in the ACC, That is a trash conference. There's nothing good coming out of there.
Right.
I mean, of course they're going to steamroll their way to the playoffs. I mean, and they've just been good enough to be solid in the playoffs over the past several years with having Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence back-to-back.
Now, do you think if Clemson was somehow in the Pac-12 or other divisions, do you think that they would have they wouldn't have like these blowout games? Or
I don't
anything
know.
like
It's
that?
like the same thing saying that Ohio State, if they'd be in the ACC, I think we mentioned this at First Step. I don't think you were there, but we were saying if they ended up having to play in the ACC or the Big 12 and play all these teams, or even if you're like a Notre Dame and you create your own schedule, because somebody mentioned that, it might have been Brandon, I think, off the top of my head, but you create your own schedule. Imagine how much more competitive that is, and you don't have to worry about college football rankings. If you had Ohio State face Indiana, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson, like all those teams that are always in like the top 10, you wouldn't have to worry about who's the number one, because when you're beating everybody else's ass, you are the number one.
You know what they really truly need to do is they need to restructure all of the conferences. There's 4 big conferences, and there's just, it seems like an infinity amount of just garbage conferences that already have no shot at making it into the college football playoff. So what you need to do is you need to take like the top 50 teams from college football Division I, make that your new Division I, make 4 conferences out of that, maybe 5. You got 5 power conferences. There you go. You got the 5 winners from each one and maybe a wild card, or 3 wild cards, 8-man playoff. Then you put the rest of those garbage teams, like the Illinois, like the Purdue's, like the Marylands, like the Tulsas, like those teams like that. Throw them in a D1A or something, or Division 1B. And you know what? The top 10 teams that are in that division get to move to D1 next year, and the bottom 10 teams go to that D1A, almost like how the English Premier League is for soccer.
I was going to say, where did I hear that from before?
I like that a lot. I really do like that.
There's too many teams, and there's too many garbage games week in and week out in college football.
I mean, that's not even college football, too. Look at it from college basketball, for example.
But yeah, it's all college Division I sports. I mean, the NCAA is controlling everything, and that's because they're giving these teams, extra revenue for getting to play. How much does the amount of money Akron's football team makes just for going into Ohio State and getting the crap kicked out of them is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
they get paid like...
Bowling Green had to deal with having a program on and off for football within this year because of COVID, and they still ended up being able to have, I think, a fundraiser or something of that sort that ended up having them have a football team again. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of money out there, and that's why you face these big schools, which makes sense. But it shouldn't. That should be your preseason instead of it counting.
The thing is it's the NCAA. It's the NCAA. It's not about the sports necessarily. It's about bringing money to the school. It's about bringing money to the school. So that's the reason why they have so many teams, because these teams, they're all going to play one of these top 20 teams at some point in the year, go get the crap kicked, and make a couple million to last them for the rest of the year.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's an accurate point. It's just some people, obviously from the point of view of having, it's not all about sports, and it's more so the fact that you could pretty much make money for your school, and it's a school sport. I feel like a lot of people end up remembering college football as an individual sport, because if you're good, you're going to declare for the draft, you're going to forget about your school. So, I mean, yeah, you do play as a team and you're playing for the colors on your back, but at the same time, it's an individual sport. It's one of those, you play both sides pretty much. You play for the school and you play for yourself. That's the way college football works. So otherwise, you wouldn't declare for the draft.
Right.
Hell yeah, that's a solid, valid point.
But on that note, are we heading over to NBA?
Yeah, we can go to some NBA.
Yeah, there's not much going on in college football right now.
So LeBron James signs a 2-year, $85 million extension with the Los Angeles Lakers to the year 2023. And how I feel about that, I really shouldn't care, and I'm not putting local sports anchors here on blast in Ohio, but that's cool that they talk about LeBron James, but I just feel like some people kiss his ass just to hope that he comes back and plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't like the fact that after he won a championship with us, he kept giving us 1-year deals at a time. It's like we gave him a whole mile, and he just wanted to take an inch at a time. where I think it's complete BS because it's so much favoritism to the pretty-looking city of Los Angeles, California. Not just that, he is doing Space Jam 2, and Jim Carrey's also in that movie. So you got to do a lot of publicity. You got to do, your tours. So Los Angeles, yeah, that's good for him and his investments with his movies and TV shows. But I just think it's crap that he gave them 2 years when he only just did that for us one time. But that also shows you good management and good owners.
You know that the LeBron James and his whole entire, 17, 18-year-old career, he's only signed 2 extensions. This one and in Miami.
The big market cities.
He's never signed one with Cleveland as an extension, a long-term extension. But the thing is, though, I think it was Daryl Ryder ended up saying that, do you think that there's a possibility that after 2 years of 2023, Bronny Jr. would be out of college, you graduated high school, have that 1 year of college?
You are just obsessed with LeBron playing with Bronny, aren't you?
I'm not the only one.
What I would like to see is LeBron James' son finish out his 4 years in college. Just because you're good at basketball and who your daddy is does not mean you're going to have a good career. That piece of paper should back you up on an education, just in case you're basketball. Look at Michael Jordan's son.
But look at it from the example, though, too, that you could always go back to school or online school even as an athlete. I mean, look at how many football players, like Troy Polamalu was in the league for how long. He ended up he graduated like 13 years later. Ben Roethlisberger did the same thing. He went online, and it was all within like that 2010 decade, like within that first 5 years that they were going back to school or going to online school because your career isn't going to pay off everything. That's why you have a backup in life.
All I know is this gives the Lakers even more of an ability to build around LeBron because they know they have him for at least 2 years, unlike when we were left in question in 2009, and the only move we ended up making was to get Wally Zerbiak and Anton Jameson, and left us with absolutely nothing once he left. And then he would only do the 1 year extensions in 2017 and 2018, which meant Dan Gilbert couldn't really bring in another huge superstar because nobody knew if LeBron was leaving or not.
But
I mean, he hurt the Cavs twice that way, and yet goes to LA and does it once, and
so many people.
But I also think
around that
stay
it's
with
gonna
the
also
Cavs
help.
too.
I also think him and Dan Gilbert really had some personal heat.
Well, yeah, they did.
He came back and won it for us. Like it was progress over pride. Because I've watched that on his show on HBO called The Shop, and he basically said he went to Cleveland for progress over pride. He didn't explain why, but I think I read between the lines. He basically said, screw Dan Gilbert. The city of Cleveland deserves it. So I don't want to blame LeBron. I don't want to blame management. It just sucks that my lovely city is just in the middle of this BS.
And not only that, though, too, like with LeBron, though, if you had the ability to pretty much bring him back, or even in the past too, you couldn't really build around him because it was always his guys that he wanted.
Right, and then look at the BS contracts. Oh, yeah, let's let Deli walk and then re-sign JR, who doesn't know if we're up or which side of the basket we're on, but he can figure that shit out in Los Angeles. Oh, let's keep Tristan Thompson, even though he runs like a 7-point buck going down Fulton at 7:30 in the morning. Like, it just...
So is that saying that he runs like a gazelle?
No, a gazelle and a... No, I don't know. We're not going to talk National Geographic on this show.
There is a possibility, though, that we might end up having a show that just talks about TV shows like National Geographic, Family Feud, all of that sort. Stay tuned for that one.
Coming in 2021.
That is true. But anyways, though, not only that, like with the whole entire LeBron thing, but like as I mentioned, there was news today and earlier in the week that the Cavs were in talks with Russell Westbrook getting traded to the Cavs, and you'd have Russell Westbrook, you'd have Andre Drummond, and you'd have Kevin Love. For one, before we go into the breaking news that it's not going to happen, let's discuss what if that would have had happened.
If that would have happened, I don't think it would have worked out well because I feel like Westbrook is so used to being the man on his own team, Mr. Triple-Double. I feel like he's going to take that and he's going to have so much ego and he's going to try. He might be, I wouldn't call him a cancer. He might be a problem to that locker room. He might rub some people the wrong way. He's playing in the Eastern Conference. Who knows? He might complain and bitch about driving through the snow to get out of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So
There's snow?
Yeah, unfortunately. But like I don't see him coming to the Cavaliers to be a team player. I see him coming here saying, look, let's do this my way. When you got guys like Kevin Love that's like, look, homie, I got a championship here. And you got guys like Andre Drummond. Okay, I'm 2 years here, you're senior. Who are you?
Yeah.
Like
I would not at all be opposed to getting Russell Westbrook.
I wouldn't, but I feel like that can just.
But that's the thing is I don't even care about those guys in the locker room right now because I know those guys in the locker room right now
It will sell
aren't going to
tickets.
do anything for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the next coming years. You need a guy like Russell Westbrook who took the Oklahoma City Thunder the year after Kevin Durant went to Golden State, took Golden State all 7 games. And lost by himself.
Yeah.
With Steven Adams. You
Now
need
there's
him
nobody
to
on
take.
that Thunder
You
team
need
anymore.
him to take over a team. That's the way he wins. So I would be opposed to that. Even if the Cavs don't get back to the finals, you get some exciting playoff runs with Westbrook. I mean, you're guaranteed to get to the Final Four of the Eastern Conference.
Or at least going to have a TNT primetime game if he's here. I can see that.
I mean, because honestly,
I just don't want the problems in the locker room.
Are you really gonna be that upset if Darius Garland is butthurt by Russell Westbrook being
Darius Garland
Jetty Osman's not getting the ball as much? Are we gonna be that upset?
I can't remember Shetty Osman with the ball that much. Oh, yeah, you got to make room for him.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got to make
the
room
new
for
guy?
Westbrook.
Well, yeah,
Or whatever,
So
yeah.
so okay, so fine. Then
So-
everybody becomes role players, or you do trade bait. Trade Colin Sexton. Go get a veteran forward. Go get a veteran small forward.
That's what they should do in a way because here's the thing though, like I'd love for that to happen. Like you end up having this star that you trade for whatever. But again, this is Cleveland and that doesn't happen in basketball and football or whatever. You never get that star that you want unless if LeBron decides that his telepathic powers, I was going to say something completely different, but he decides to come back to Cleveland because Akron's calling him back. But the thing is, and you'd have to end up thinking that you could get somebody that good, but Russell Westbrook is not going to want to come here. You're going to...
He probably hates the snow.
You have to... You in the damn snow. But the thing that's the issue is that you have to get an all-star, and that's going to be difficult because you're going to get that all-star and then you could build to be a winner and get all these stars, but you could also build young and go from there and build up and stay together as a core. And that's what I'd rather have is that a lot of people don't have the patience to wait around.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather have this now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build up. Look what the rush happened when you brought LeBron back. He screwed over the Cavs so much just because he wanted, hey, that guy, and the bum off East 9th in Cleveland. But just that's the complicated part. But the good news, I guess, in this situation would be that Russell Westbrook got traded to the Wizards for John Wall and a first-round pick.
Okay, so Westbrook, welcome to the Eastern Conference, and I hope you enjoy snow.
And that makes me laugh because I'm pretty sure I just heard that the Washington Wizards were focused on building the team around Bradley Beal.
Yep, and John Wall got pissed.
And John Wall got pissed, so
He deserves
John
so
Wall's
much better.
gone, yet you bring in a guy that you would much rather build around than Bradley Beal.
Remember when they had Marcin Gortat?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they
Wizards.
still do.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they still do.
let's check.
Yeah, because he was in Arizona, he was in Phoenix
No,
for a
he's
while.
retired now.
He's retired.
But his
I
last
remember
team
he
was
was
the
on-
Wizards and then played 2 years with the Clippers.
Okay.
Okay,
That's right.
yep.
But yeah, like the thing is that the Cavs, I don't even think if they would have a star to build around, who would that star even be? Like you're not gonna get, bless you, a Gordon Hayward. You're not gonna get Russell Westbrook here. You're not gonna get James Harden. Why would he want to come here? He'd be the same way like Russell Westbrook. Why would he want to come to Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have LeBron, and this is why you have to build a young core in Cleveland, nobody's gonna want to come here.
Like, okay,
If you get a 5-star rookies, if you end up having all these guys pan out, Colin Sexton's a starter. You have Darius Garland. You got Kevin Porter. You got
If Kevin Porter can get on the court after all what's going on with him.
they're trying to work with him though, and JB Bickerstaff isn't having, and he's not looking at him differently. They're all a team and they pick each other up. That's the mindset that they're having. but you end up having that draft pick that they just got that I forgot, or Oakery. Anyways, but I'm not, like, if you have that and you get 1-star person, that would be the key compared to getting 1-star person and having talent not around him compared to having a young core.
The last time I was getting ready to trust the Cleveland Cavaliers on drafting a young core, I was hearing everybody. If LeBron leaves the team the first year he left us, I'm never watching. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to still watch my Cavaliers. I'm still going to watch the Cavaliers. What happened? Who did we draft? Tristan Thompson, Kyrie effing Irving. And then what happened? I said, you know what? I'm going to watch this young core right here. And then Deion Waiters comes into the mix.
Isaac Okoro. I felt bad because I messed up his name.
Remember how bad Tristan Thompson was his rookie year?
Exactly.
I remember him missing a dunk.
Oh, he would get blocked on more than 50% of his layup attempts.
But I remember watching that young core, and I said,
then
you know
he
what?
shoots 3 at the end of his time here. That's ridiculous.
What's that tell you?
No.
But I'm like, okay, I'm interested in this young core. Who cares if LeBron is not here?
They were excited to watch.
Right, okay. We have a badass point guard. And then during the one NBA All-Star game in New Orleans, I seen Kyrie Irving and LeBron all buddy talking on the bench. And my buddy Leroy Perkins said, hey, family, I swear to God, I think LeBron James is talking to Kyrie saying, if you keep balling the way you're balling, I will come back to Cleveland. What happened that following year? He comes back home to Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I'm going to go from there.
No, keep going. Keep going.
I didn't expect that young core Cavaliers group I was going to watch. I didn't say, we're going to be in the finals in 4 to 5 years. I didn't think that. I didn't even care if we made the NBA finals. But seeing LeBron James see that, oh, wow, they're actually putting together pieces that are young that I can work with. So that made me proud. Like, that was the last young group of Cavaliers that I've watched.
So we'll pause on this note because I have more to say about the whole entire NBA situation with LeBron.
Those city jerseys.
That young core, that overall, and I'm pretty sure Parker wants to get his input too, but we got to take a quick break. But beforehand, Brian, our producer, said that he has to manscape. So what would he use, Riggs?
He will use the promo code SPORTZ with a Z, SPORTZ. And when our producer is going to finally shave his balls, I don't know if he did or didn't, he's going to get the ball toner, the ball deodorant, and the lawnmower, Ving, Ving, Ving 3.0.
Don't forget about the tool shed.
The tool shed. And he better shave his balls in his room with the door closed. Man,
make sure he uses that newspaper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You ever read that newspaper?
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's
hilarious.
I might bring... No, I'm not going to bring it out because I have to do one of these. And
No, read it on air.
we'll be right back on the We Lie Sportz Podcast.
If you're
bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTZ with a Z at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTZ. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Welcome to the We Lie Sportz Podcast with Peyton Vince, Parker Pierce, Riggs Law, Brian Fluke, KM Voice. This is the closing credits to Saturday Night Live. You've been watching the We Lie Sportz Podcast, and we weren't going anywhere. Anyways, though, on a serious note, as we get into the NFL, a shout out to somebody that finds the blender behind us super attractive. So,
For real?
yeah.
One of the comments is talking
It was
about...
a personal text message.
Oh, was it a chick?
Yes, it was.
Wait. So are they talking about the Ninja, or are they talking about the food processor?
We'll find out after the next break.
That was good.
Welcome to the We Like Appliances with the Z podcast.
Oh my
Shaving
god.
into your balls for promo code SPORTS with a Z.
Blend up your balls with the brand new Ninja 3.0.
We'll bring up Bob's choice of
Why not process your balls?
Oh, God.
Damn, that got off track.
You said serious note, right?
Yeah, and then that all happened. So back to a more fun note, since I guess that's serious for us. On another note, we got Browns versus Jacksonville. But before we go into that recap of the game, I got a text message from our friend Cisco. So,
Oh my
since
goodness,
his
the
name,
barber.
Since his name came about, I'm like, you know what? You know what he does? He does haircuts. So why not just give him a quick shout out? 440-320-2691. That's Cisco the Barber on Instagram. 440-320-2691. Go out to Lorraine. Get your beard lined up. Get a facial. Get your haircut. Get it all. He'll take care of you. Say that the We Like Sportz Podcast sent you. And that's Cisco the Barber.
He's really good with that straight razor. Trust.
Stand up again and look into the camera and point and be like, I'm not kidding with you. But anyways,
something with that hair of yours?
yeah, he did, but I'm balding, so it doesn't matter.
You
Genetics.
look like a young Homer Simpson.
So we're gonna get into the Cleveland Browns versus Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, that game.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, that are real Browns fans, our football team is 9-3.
8-3.
We're 8-3. Oh wow, I'm getting two ahead.
See? Can't do
Wow.
that. Week by week, dog.
Take
week by
this.
week.
Take this,
Week by-
please.
The Browns are 8-3. We have absolutely nothing to complain about. All right, first of all, stop complaining about Baker Mayfield's play.
Second
Baker
of all,
Mayfield.
stop complaining about complaining.
Baker Mayfield, either way, as
Oh,
as
it's like,
the
the three
signal caller-
touchdowns that were missed in the end zone. I
Yes,
see memes
yeah,
with that.
that happened. But still, he's got this team at 8-3. It doesn't matter how he's done it, and we know he can play a whole hell of a lot better than he has been. Be patient. If this is poor for Baker Mayfield, having the Browns at 8-3 under Stefanski, I can't wait to see what average is for that.
And it was like average. Baker Mayfield said after the game, on the post game on Sunday, we have not played our best football yet.
Absolutely not.
And that's without Odell Beckham Jr. And I feel like, no disrespect to him, our team is gelling and meshing. There's no pressure. I feel like Baker doesn't have to read to Odell. Our run game on point. Hooper, okay, let's go with my Austin Hooper.
The Hopper.
He does have hops, but
Yeah, he does. Jarvis missing what? No, Jarvis had an excellent game.
Yeah, he had an amazing game.
After his birthday, happy belated birthday to you. Like, I see why your nickname is Juice. Dead serious.
He had a really good game, though, against Jacksonville.
Yeah,
He really
seriously. Another thing that sucks, too, Jacksonville, they were going down like flies on their defense. Just seeing player after player just banged up and just... From somebody who went 0-16 and even worse records than that, just seeing those guys on the field like, damn, like, I want to get more than just one victory on the season. From a bad football... From a ex-bad football team, I can understand that pain and that process. But Jacksonville, hopefully, you can have a lot better season for yourselves next year.
And the thing is, too, is that, like, the one thing that I saw people worry about, too, one of my friends that wherever my hoodie went, the Opposites of Experts podcast.
It's on my couch.
Yeah, it's over there. I'll show you guys that later on. But the Opposite of Experts podcast, Brandon and Pat. Brandon wasn't too happy about the fact that Harrison Bryant ended up fumbling the ball again.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, that cost him a game early on against the Oakland Raiders or the Los Angeles Raiders. Did it again early on. as Browns fans, guys, what do you think about Harrison Bryant? Even though he's had such a good season, do those fumbles worry you?
They worry me, but he needs to start tightening up on his game, especially while we're getting down to the meat and potatoes of this season and trying to at least make a damn good playoff run or at least a comfortable seeding to the point where we don't even have to worry. So tighten up on your game, homie. That's all you got to do. Appreciate you for what you're doing out there on the field every Sunday.
Absolutely. Harrison Bryant, I mean, dude, just hold on the ball. You'll be fine. I like his skill set. I think he's a great rookie still. I mean, I think he's a guy Baker still needs to target and go after. Just hold on the ball. I mean, learn from your mistakes and just don't keep making those mistakes, and you'll be fine, dude. You got the skill set. You'll be all right. Just hold on the ball.
Right. Now, if our producer or someone can look this up for me on the phone, I was watching the news. Isn't he out for COVID protocol this week?
Bryant?
Harrison? Someone on our
No, Ronnie Harrison.
Ronnie Harrison.
He's hurt.
Oh,
3 to
okay.
6 weeks.
Okay. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, let me see what's going on because I did see something similar with another COVID shutdown at the Browns. It was a staff member this time.
Staff member of the Browns is shut down for the whole week when one of the staff members was tested positive.
Oh, and a shout out too. Didn't we have a female coach on our squad
we
this
did.
week?
She was the tight
Yeah.
ends coach.
History.
Yep. For tight ends coach, correct? If I can remember her name, she did a fantastic job. I wouldn't even care if you were on the opposite team. It's just making history, especially. You know what I'm saying? Like, kudos to you.
Porter Gustin.
Porter
It got put on Browns COVID list.
Porter Gustin is on our Browns COVID list, everybody.
So, yeah, I mean, overall...
Well, the good news is, even with
And
Porter...
Miles Garrett has been cleared.
Miles
he's
Garrett,
up.
that's what I was about to say.
Yep.
Even though we're losing Porter Gustin, I mean, you're getting a huge key back for this Tennessee game.
Yes.
I mean, I can't wait for this matchup. I've been waiting for this matchup for years. If I can remember correctly, 2 years ago, Browns versus Titans.
Our home opener.
Last year, I don't think Miles Garrett played.
It was our home opener. They whooped us by like 30.
And I can't wait. I just can't wait for that matchup. Derrick Henry versus Miles Garrett and that front, four of the Browns.
And
also shout out to Olivier Vernon for stepping up in Miles Garrett's absence.
Oh, what about that play? The helmet to helmet contact.
That was BS. That was absolute BS. But even the week before, I mean, he had 3 sacks and a safety.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
I mean,
shout out Olivier Vernon having a
I can't wait
hell of a game.
If he can keep playing that great on the other side of the ball, and who knows, maybe he'd be having a lot better year if Miles Garrett wasn't getting to the quarterback a half second sooner every time.
When it comes to the Cleveland Browns, I really need us to win these next 2 games because they are AFC games. The Titans, because those guys, they have a chip on their shoulder. They lost the AFC Championship game last year to the defending champion Kansas City. So you don't think that they want to get back into the playoff rhythm and get back there after last year? Sports Center and everybody want to crown Cleveland as the winners. So they probably still hold a little bit of a vendetta against us. And we definitely got to get in Baltimore's ass again before we get into Pittsburgh's ass again.
Why'd you look at me when you said getting my ass again?
Pittsburgh, because that's all you heard. So basically, I'm somewhat worried about this Tennessee game coming up right now. To be truly honest, I'm not scared, but I'm a little worried. But Miles Garrett will be on the field for us on the defensive line, so
I'll have to see if I have this bookmark since we're already going into the next subject pretty much that we're going to get into later on. But with the Browns and the Titans, you have, I think Baker Mayfield was asked, like, what about the competition between Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry? What are your thoughts on that? And he goes, well, you forgot about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and that's another thing is it doesn't matter. I think this is either way. This is going to be a great run game. You got 2 great offensive lines going at each other, and you have 2 great backfields going against each other. And I'm excited for this game, knowing that both Chubb and Hunt are going to be completely healthy. Considering on the year they are 6-1 when both of them play.
yes.
And that's going to be huge. I think just you keep both of them on the field. They both make impact plays every single time they touch the ball, it seems.
Like I said, just our run game is just immaculate. The Cleveland Browns, it's just smash mouth, gridiron, old school, punch you in the damn mouth football. Like I explained a couple shows ago. If you want to get hit hard in the face, we're gonna run it with Nick Chubb. If you want to get jabbed lightly in the mouth, I'm gonna give it to Kareem Hunt. It just depends on how bad you want me to beat your ass that Sunday.
Back and back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you always have fresh legs out there too. Though. That's the plus. And when Nick Chubb was down, you had Kareem Hunt that was at 70% because he was dealing with an injury. Still fought through for you guys, and now you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. This team, if they stick together, for one, I heard it from one of my friends, and he said that if the Browns win a Super Bowl at all, it would be this year because 2020 has been the weirdest year that anything could happen.
Absolutely.
And it's just it would make sense for this year.
I'm going to say, yeah, I'm not going to win. I'm going to say this now because I came to get those initials out of my mouth. You hear now on the We Lie Sportz podcast. If that happens, I will get Kevin Stefanski's first and last name tattooed on my body.
Oh. All right.
You heard it here.
Hold on.
You've heard it
record it
here.
on my phone, too. So say it one more time.
If the Cleveland Browns make a good playoff run and we do the you-know-what because it's so hard to get this out, I will get Kevin Stefanski's first and last name tattooed on my body.
Just for documentation purposes, I do record every podcast to the one of the little.
We have to hold a Lombardi trophy for me to do that, and I probably will not be the only one in this city doing it.
Oh, I'll get my Browns tattooed, completely recolored, fully put in, and I'll throw a trophy behind it also.
Would you rather actually get him autograph a spot and then have a tattoo artist go over that autograph?
No. Just right here. KS plus LL.
I was going to make a comment about that too, but I'm like, I was going to say you should get it in initials in the heart, but you went KS plus LL. Oh, damn.
But let's go back to Coach Stefanski. In your opinion, everybody, could Coach Kevin Stefanski become Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I absolutely think he can because, I mean, they go based on the regular season. That's really it. Mm-hmm. I mean, even in 2018, Greg Williams was getting
I miss Greg Williams.
Coach of the Year, even though he coached for only half the season.
Well, he's by far, I think he's one of the youngest ones to actually do what he's done with the team.
Oh, yeah,
that is considered the laughing stock.
He's
Exactly.
a lot like Sean McVay.
And he
And
laughed at more than Lions fans.
yeah, he reminds me a lot of Sean McVay, and Sean McVay obviously had instant success with, the LA Rams and everything, and that offense completely turned around, with Jared Goff. I mean, they became so good that, Todd Gurley became irrelevant out there. And I don't know. I just think Stefanski knows how to use his weapons correctly, and he comes up with something new each week, and he learns from his mistakes and doesn't make them twice.
I absolutely think Coach Stefanski could become Coach of the Year, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Browns fan. Any coach that can take a garbage dumpster fire team and make them 8-3 and know how to use your weapons, you're damn good at your job. So you deserve that award. I don't care if you're a Pittsburgh coach, a Buffalo coach. I don't care where you're coaching. If you meet those requirements and you're damn good at it, hell yeah, you're Coach of the Year in my opinion. But I'm just happy it's our coach.
I mean, coming from a Steelers fan too, I heard that on what day was it? It was after the Browns play. Oh, it was the Kansas City Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, which was really good too, by the way. It was, if you had Tyreek Hill in your fantasy football team, it was a huge game for you. I did. I faced our good friend of the show, Troy Baumgartner. He wasn't too happy with me because I had Derrick Henry that put up 37 and Tyreek Hill that put up 58.
Dang.
And I ended up making a reference.
Didn't he backflip into the end zone on one play? Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that I put something out on Facebook saying that with all this snow coming, it's about time I get out my winter jacket, which is a Steelers jacket, by the way. But I'm like, it's about time I end up getting out my winter jacket and changing over from the hoodies to the winter jacket. And Troy commented, and he goes, well, maybe Tyreek Hill will get you one since he did everything else for you this week. And I'm like, are you upset, Troy? I'm like, you seem really mad about fantasy football.
He is.
And then he called me up and we were talking about work-related stuff. And I'm like, how'd you like Tyreek Hill? And he hung up on me.
Oh, yeah, he's mad.
Look, there's a reason I don't play fantasy football no more. I get way too upset and way too involved in that stuff.
Especially if there's
And
money involved.
I can't do it no more. Last year,
But he beat
last
me
year was
early
my
on, though,
last.
so it was
last
fair.
year was my last year when I made the trade to trade Derrick Henry for Mike Evans and T.J. Hawkinson.
I had Derrick Henry, and he was suspended for like 4 weeks. Not last year, but the year before that.
That's why I was like, I just didn't trust him, and I drafted him, and before even week 1, I traded him away because I wasn't sure.
And Derrick Henry, that was somebody that... That's why this season when I ended up going into fantasy football and having I think I had like I think I was the 7th overall pick, and I'm like, all right, let's see who I could get. And I'm like, who should I get? I want a good running back, and I picked Derrick Henry because his season was so huge last year. And this year he's been so streaky. That's the word for him. He's been super streaky. He's had games that he puts up 10 points and games that he puts up 40 like this past Sunday against Indianapolis. And that was a game that was supposed to be close originally. But as we ended up talking about that game, the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, Riggs, I know you wanted to hit on something, too, before we get back into Cleveland talk.
I've never in my life seen a special teams play on both teams, just that onside kick, offside kick, whatever type of kick it was. If anyone knows, please tell me in the chat. That went right to number 11's hands on the Tennessee Titans.
It was A.J. Brown, I think.
He ran it in, and it was so smooth. He went in untouched in the it was just. I can't. That was probably the best play I've seen in football in the last 2 years. Next to the Philly special. I didn't expect the Philly special, but that was my best special teams play. Because even in Madden, I could never get something like that off.
Dude, you can't ever get an onside kick in Madden as is. It's so difficult. You used to be able to hit like the B button twice, and it was like one of those like kick behind like your foot. And that was the trick play that everybody was able to do. And if you didn't know it, you hated your life. But I want to get into these numbers really quick, though. Through 40 NFL starts, I'm going to give you Baker Mayfield's, and you're going to have to guess the other 2 quarterbacks that are still in the league. So you have Baker Mayfield. That's
how many starts?
40 starts. So Baker Mayfield has 9,660 passing yards, 66 touchdowns, 42 interceptions, and a completion rating of 62%. Your next one, this is player A, 8,144 yards, 63 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, and 63% passer rating. Do you guys want the other one and then go from there? Or
the second one's Baker, but it's 63%.
No, the first one was Baker.
Oh, okay.
And their quarterback's playing this year, right?
66 touchdowns for Baker.
And what was the second one again?
63%, 63 touchdowns too,
Yep,
right?
22 interceptions, 8,144 yards.
And all right, just tell us who that one is, and then we'll try.
I was just going to say Deshaun Watson.
No, it's Russell Wilson. And then your last quarterback has 8,177 yards, 50 touchdowns, 35 interceptions, and 61% completion rating.
Who's more aggressive?
Philip.
He's currently hurt right now.
Carson Wentz.
Nope.
No,
Carson
RG.
Wentz.
No.
Oh man.
One more guess.
Hurt right now.
Plays in the South.
Dak Prescott.
Parker's thinking of one.
Drew Brees?
Yep, it's Drew Brees. So,
Wow.
obviously with those numbers, you have Baker Mayfield, 9,660 yards, 66 touchdowns, 42 interceptions, and a completion rating of 62%. Russell Wilson is 8,144 yards, 63 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, 63% passer rating. Again, that's through 40 starts. And then Drew Brees, that's 8,177 yards, 50 touchdowns, 35 interceptions, and 61% passer rating.
Yeah, but you also got to think most of those games for Drew Brees were when he was in San Diego. There's a lot of them there.
But at the same time, that comparison, Baker Mayfield is leading those 3, and that's a good group to stick around within
absolutely.
40 NFL starts. And so many people this year always has a problem with Baker Mayfield not being a good enough quarterback when Baker Mayfield and Drew Brees are about the same height.
And Baker Mayfield was on this same list with 2 Super Bowl champions. Not saying that that's a bright future for Baker Mayfield, but numbers don't lie.
And you have to also think Baker Mayfield seems to have that it factor when it comes to leading a locker room in the battle, and that's what Drew Brees has. That's what Russell Wilson has, and that's why they've been so successful. And that's why I think you can't look at Baker's stats. You got to look at his leadership. You got to look at the way he's got this team playing, and it all starts with him touching the ball first every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is something that no matter what, like, I know a huge conversation is always within Browns fans saying that it was always Carson Wentz. Like, what if we got Carson Wentz? What if the Browns got Carson Wentz? What if they got Patrick Mahomes?
I'm happy we didn't get Carson Wentz.
He's the most sacked quarterback in the league right now.
I'm just unhappy with the amount we gave up for him. That's it.
Like, the thing that Baker Mayfield's doing is that...
Well, I mean, like, the amount they gave up and we didn't turn it into anything. That's what I mean. Like, all we got out of that entire thing was Jabril Peppers and a bunch of guys who aren't in the league anymore.
But Jabril Peppers turned into Odell Beckham Jr. And a draft pick.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously he had some kind of quality that was there for a team to get him. But the good news if you're Baker Mayfield or a fan of the Browns is that you have to believe in your quarterback when a lot of people are just complaining because of the present and what's happening on the field Sunday. If he has 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, and you end up having a win still, a win's a win. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb could carry your team. Tennessee's going to be a tough. It's going to be a very time possession game.
And from watching what I understand from every time I watch the ball game at First Stop Bar and Grill, State Road, Palmer, Ohio, Sunday afternoons, Broman Burger $2 off.
When's our podcast during that?
Oh, that's 11 to 12:45 every Sunday morning up at First Stop live. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of Browns fans in there, and you know what they react to the most, like, negatively?
The Broman Burger.
Missed throws. No, the Broman Burger is amazing. No, but when Baker overthrows anybody, I swear to God, that place gets they almost get hangry, like they haven't eaten a Broman Burger yet. You know, they get that upset.
So if we overthrow someone on first down, it's true we have 2 more left.
Right. It's like, but it's like all those key mistakes. I mean, they overreact. Browns fans overreact to little mistakes, and that's what makes quarterbacks dwindle so much here so easily.
But, like, if you look at other teams throughout the NFL, like, Kyler Murray wasn't really a star his first year. This is his better year out of the 2 of them. You have to remember that you're developing a quarterback. He didn't even have an offensive line until this year.
Yep.
Otherwise, the Browns running backs, Chubb and Hunt, would not matter if you didn't have guys like Wyatt Teller that got into tremendous shape and could push his way through and be a bully, and he's bound to be a Pro Bowler.
Oh, yeah.
You have Jarek Wills. That's a good, big offensive lineman, and he's taking the spot of Joe Thomas, and Joe Thomas allegedly wanted to work with him. So that's things that you have to do and be patient for. Baker's still a young quarterback. This is, year 3? And why the hell am I defending Browns fans?
I don't know. I'm just really happy with our GM just going out and getting those key trench guys this year. I think that was huge. And that's where you win the ball games. And you know what? These last 3 games before Jacksonville were tough, muddy, disgusting games. And they came out 2-1. Yeah, they got punched in the mouth by Oakland. But you know what? They proved that they toughened up, they learned, and they were just a tougher team in the next 2. And it showed that, you know what? They can run the ball even on dry land too because they're just tougher now.
The one thing I want to talk about,
I should go to break soon.
Yeah.
You could get to what you want to talk about and let us know what you want to talk about.
Coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mr. John Gruden, apologized to the Las Vegas Raiders fan base for A, not making it to the playoffs, and B, losing to a bad Atlanta Falcons team. Seeing Derek Carr hit the field during that Sunday game like a little kid that didn't get what he wanted. Just seeing that in that quarterback, it's just like, I can't believe I lost to the second worst team in the league.
So you brought up the little kid situation, right? Parker mentioned this like 2 weeks ago about Kyler Murray. And when you see him play now, pay attention. Get this information and then take us to break with the Manscaped. But Parker, what do you see when Kyler Murray runs?
Kyler Murray, when he runs with the football, running out of the pocket and scrambling upfield, looks like a toddler that just stole a piece of candy.
On that note, Riggs, what are you going to do?
I'm going to manscape. We'll be right back on the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Sports with the Z.
And we are back to the We Like Sportz Podcast with myself, Riggs, professional Parker Pierce, Peyton Vince, Brian Fluke on the ones and twos. So one thing that I got information on I want to talk about is what happened in Denver, Colorado between the Saints and the Denver Broncos. One, I think that was a waste of time because Denver not really having an experienced quarterback, and that game was 31-3. They could have put another game on television that was at least some good competition. And as a Browns fan, I know you can be outside throwing the football with one of your friends and somebody will make a smart-ass comment like, oh, you guys should go out there and put on pads for the Browns.
Yeah.
Watching that quarterback for the Denver Broncos, which tells you cannot put an average Joe in pads and make him play the game. He was drafted. He played wide receiver in college.
No, he played quarterback.
Oh, he played quarterback. He played quarterback in college.
Practice squad for
So
Denver.
it shows you that a college quarterback really can't play professional quarterback. He got paid $36,000 for that game on Sunday.
36,000.
Yeah, Swami said it on ESPN. He got paid $36,000 to get destroyed, 31-3. There was times in that game where I felt like the New Orleans Saints was giving him a mercy rule. Hey, every time we pick this guy off, just lay your ass on the ground. Like, I don't know. Like, that
was so dumb. Like, it's just, again, this is COVID football 2020 because, I mean, it's not anything you could control. Like, the other quarterbacks got fined because they're all hanging around and just BSing with each other. And look what happens. The vid happened. So now you had a practice squad wide receiver that got picked up off the practice squad, then played quarterback. And his stat line was like 4 for 19.
Yeah, it was absolutely hard to watch, but as a Browns fan, I did obviously, there's a reason, those 4:00 games, the Browns aren't on them very often because, we watch the Browns on Sundays at 1:00, with our third or fourth string quarterback usually, and then we watch the real football at 4:00. 4:00 games are not meant for that type of garbage to be watched because it didn't happen when we had, that guy that we pulled off the street. Because we had no talent, everybody was injured, and we were on our third, fourth quarterback. Who's the guy that he looked like Gardner Minshew? What was his name? We had him back before Manziel, I think. He used to play for the Carolina Panthers, and we just signed him.
Jake Delhomme?
No, not Jake Delhomme.
Anderson?
No. This guy was really bad. I'll have to look him up.
Wait, what year?
Oh, this is like 2016, 2015.
2000.
Maybe right after Johnny Manziel.
Hold on.
But we just pulled a guy off free agency, and he was absolutely trash. He was even worse than what this backup wide receiver did on Sunday. I mean, that type of stuff doesn't belong on 4:00. And NFL, you're going to be really doing this to the Denver Broncos, but you're going to give the Baltimore Ravens an extra couple days.
You talking about Austin Davis?
No, I'll look him up. Just
keep talking.
keep going.
Well, Johnny Manziel said the Cleveland Browns lost respect off the field due to antics. That's coming from somebody who had some crazy off the field antics himself. So maybe he's
Johnny liked to drink because we stink. Duh.
Well, maybe that's Manziel. I don't know if that's Manziel just trying to keep himself relevant, or that's just him saying, "Hey guys, don't mess up like I did."
Well, he said, according to Yahoo Sports, he said that he 100% lost his Browns teammates' respect because of his off-the-field antics.
Okay. I thought this was the
Not that the new, not like the Browns now, or like right now he lost respect for the Browns. No, he's saying that.
Of course he lost respect for his.
He said he wasted a year of Joe Thomas's career.
I can believe that. Not just that. I remember on the news it was the one incident with him and his girlfriend that was going on, and Paul Kruger pulled over and helped him out.
Out in Avon Lake. Yeah.
I remember seeing the video about that. Yeah, Paul Kruger got involved.
I thought Paul Rudd, and I'm like, hold on, look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. But anyways, Johnny Manziel wasted so much time. Not only as the Browns team, but the whole entire city.
But see that's another thing going back to Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker Mayfield has those off-field antics like even though you said, "Oh, Mr. Cheesecake Factory," I don't believe it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. He's a leader of men. He's not. Johnny Manziel was a child trying to lead an NFL football team. Baker Mayfield is a leader of men, and that's another reason why we can't overreact to anything Baker does.
And the man loves cheesecake too.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you like it when I bring up the cheesecake story?
Same as you don't like it when we bring up girls getting violated by your quarterback in bathrooms and bars.
See, that's why.
It's not funny.
So what else we got here today, gentlemen?
We got the NFL picks still. We can't make them like usual pre-made.
Yeah, because they.
But we'll look up the games and we'll call them out as is, and hopefully you end up picking the way you
the same
should.
way. Yeah. That sounds good.
This is the honor system. So we got Week 13. We got the Browns versus the. Oh, wow, I cannot read. The Browns versus the Titans. Who you got?
Come on now.
Browns, come on, dog.
You shouldn't even just.
I mean, the Titans, yeah, they're good. Yeah, they've had an up and down year with their running with Derrick Henry, but their running game has still been good, and they've still been a quality offense all around. Their defense is very talented. They're big physical guys. It's going to be a great matchup, but you know what? I'm sorry, you got to jump on the Browns bandwagon right now.
I'm going to say the Browns too. That's going to be a good game. I'm going to pick the Browns in this game. Your next game is the Saints versus the Falcons. I'm picking the Saints here, even if Taysom Hill's your quarterback.
Taysom Hill, baby.
I'm just happy he's not playing the tight end position in fantasy anymore. Your next game, the Lions versus the Bears. I'm going to have to go with the Bears here.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, the Bears are really bad, but I think I'm going to go with the Lions on this one. This just seems like an upset in the making, you know. Nick Foles has not done anything with that Chicago offense.
Who did the Lions play on Thanksgiving? I forgot already. Their game was not
Houston, yep.
And that game was not good.
No, it wasn't.
So
I was really looking forward to Baltimore.
They have also an extra couple days to rest, so
I'm picking the Lions.
Oh my. The Bengals versus the Dolphins.
I'm
picking the
Dolphins. That's the thing, is that makes that an even more must-win game for the Browns this week, knowing that the Dolphins are going to jump right up to 8-4 this week playing Cincinnati. And
the Browns
I just
drop to 8-4 then.
Well, I don't want the Browns to drop to 8-4. That's why this has to be a must-win for them.
So you got the Jaguars versus the Vikings. I'm picking the Vikings here.
Yeah, Vikings.
Jags is not happening, bro.
Raiders versus the Jets, another team that's not going to win at all. Raiders.
They're
winning this easily.
Never bet against the Jets.
Yeah, Derek Carr, he's got some fuel to fire.
That's about it.
Got the Colts versus the Texans. I'm going to go Colts here still. I want to lean towards the Texans, but...
Colts.
Rams versus the Cardinals. I'm picking the Rams here.
I'm not sold on the Cardinals. That's the one football team I'm
going with the Cardinals on this one. I believe in Kyler Murray running like he stole a Tootsie Roll.
The Giants versus the Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Seahawks here. The Giants shouldn't even be a football team anymore.
Yeah, Seahawks
all the way.
You got the Eagles versus the Packers.
Because Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the league. I hate to be him right now, but I would love the bank account.
They got those two guys with the same last name out there and on each defensive end out there for the Packers.
They do. The brothers.
They're so good. They're so good.
It's like Moore, right? KJ Moore and CJ Moore or something?
They're not like brothers, but they're like... One guy has like two initials for his name, and the other one's just a regular.
Okay, I know. I remember seeing it. I forgot though. Your Sunday evening football game, along with the Eagles, Packers. You got Patriots, Chargers. I want to pick the Chargers here, but I think the Patriots are starting to come along, and it's not really coming along when you beat the Chargers this year. But that's what I'm going with.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. I don't know. I feel like Justin Herbert might have a breakout game.
I feel like that's been my mindset every week, and I just can't do it again. You got the Broncos versus the Chiefs. Chiefs easily. The Broncos might not even have quarterbacks still.
Right.
Monday night football game. You got a 5 o'clock matchup between the Washington football team and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers easily. I don't care if they beat the Cowboys. The Steelers are going to run over the Washington football team.
I'm going to go with the Washington football team. They're going to pull a fumble-rooski like they did on Thanksgiving Day for the win. Anybody else see that fumble-rooski?
Yeah, that was random.
Nice was that?
Bills versus the 49ers. Monday night football game's actual first game before it became a dual threat, but I'm going with the Bills.
I'm going Bills.
So that's it for the picks. Quick rundown. But I do want to get into this comparison within the NFL. If you look within the first 27 NFL games for DK Metcalf.
Oh, gosh. Him and Megatron?
You saw it.
Wow, yeah, I saw this. This is amazing.
So 116 receptions for DK Metcalf, 1,939 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Megatron, 95 receptions, 1,662 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And Megatron was the one that he's bound to be in the Hall of Fame and should have been a while ago if he didn't stop playing early.
Didn't the Browns have a chance to draft DK Metcalf? No, I don't think they had a chance to draft him, but I did want them to really move up and go get him. Because DK Metcalf, man, what a freak athlete coming out of college.
Right.
2.5% body fat, I think.
Right. No
Just
weird stuff like seeing him with his shirt off. I'm like, that guy should just be a professional wrestler.
He literally looked like the offensive version of Myles Garrett.
Damn,
I mean,
you're
he was
right.
huge.
Yeah.
And it's showing, you know. I mean, and also being a Browns, fan, obviously you want to see DK Metcalf, since we had, Metcalf up the middle and seeing, I just like when that happens. We never got Clay Matthews in here, Jr., so
right,
I wanted to see at least one father-son duo up here in Cleveland.
So they could have easily gotten DK Metcalf. The Browns instead drafted Greedy Williams. And that was pick 46, and DK Metcalf was pick 64.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
Before DK Metcalf, there was Paris Campbell that was drafted out of Ohio State, JJ Arcega-Whiteside from the Eagles, or used to be from the Eagles, AJ Brown. What else do we have? Deebo Samuel. Keneal Harry.
I think these lights are making Riggs tired.
Marquise Brown. Who just got a touchdown today. And I believe that's it. But that's all your options that you could have gotten. And instead, the Browns got Greedy Williams.
Yeah.
And also,
The Browns got greedy.
They did.
And then they also got... Where did they
So you're gonna pick
the
you're gonna pick the least physically imposing guy in the entire draft in Greedy Williams over the most freakish athlete in the entire draft in DK Metcalf.
Yeah, essentially, and that's just the way it works. And again, you could always play this draft game with the Cleveland Browns. It's just so annoying if you end up looking at the what ifs and what happened to or
we can be here for hours.
Yes, we could.
But guys, what are your keys for the Browns going into what is this, week 13 now?
My key for the Cleveland Browns: play close to damn near perfect football. Keep control and possession of all times, and keep your ears open. Listen to the damn quarterback, and win the football game.
I think you need to run the ball heavy on the offensive side, and it's all about creating turnovers and bending and not breaking, in that red zone, holding them to field goals. I think that's huge. Derrick Henry is a force to be reckoned with in the red zone. If they can somehow stop that, holding them to, a field goal instead of 6 points is obviously a lot better. But, I mean, just on the offensive side, get that play action going. The receiver, Carterell Hodge, I think, needs to have a big game. He had a big game last week.
He really did,
and
yes.
I think him and Higgins really need to, because, I mean, obviously Landry's going to be, shadowed the whole entire game. And, just run the ball. Run the ball, be physical, and use your tight ends. Do everything right that you should do on offense, and you'll be fine.
And the thing that I would also look out for the Browns is you got to stop not only Derrick Henry, but you also have to stop Ryan Tannehill at this point, because if Derrick Henry is coming off of a game when he only played one half and scored 3 touchdowns, and that was the Colts also didn't have much of an offensive line or a defensive line because of COVID and losing players on that side of the ball, Derrick Henry took advantage of that, and that was in one half that he had 3 touchdowns. I'd be worried if you're the Browns, you have to stop him early and just stop Ryan Tannehill, because if one of them gets going, the other one's just going to feed off of it. That's what good teammates do at the end of the day, is you feed off of each other, and that's just the way it's going to go. But obviously, we'll talk more Browns come Sunday at First Stop Bar and Grill in Parma, Ohio. It's going to be Parker Pierce. It's going to be myself, Peyton Vince. Riggs might be there, but I doubt it because he has work. Brian Fluke, the producer, is going to be there, and Brandon Croucher possibly. I think that's it from the names that I have to remember, but before we end up going, guys, let's talk about Thanksgiving and how it went from a football standpoint. Just how your Thanksgiving was as a whole, too.
Oh, Thanksgiving was a blast this year. I really enjoyed it. All the food was great. All the people were great. Had an amazing time from pretty much sun up to sundown. And it was just a great overall day. And I really didn't get the chance to watch that much football. That's how great of a day it was. But I'm not too upset because the Steelers-Ravens were moved. And Cowboys and Lions aren't really much to be desired anymore on Thanksgiving.
My Thanksgiving was cool. I got tired of my nephew, who's a Steelers fan, kept saying, we need to do this, we need to do that. No, homie, there's no we. We're family, but that's all you. Food was great. Family was great. Can't wait to do it again next year for the rest of my life.
So, when he was saying we as in the Pittsburgh Steelers, is he saying we as in himself and the Steelers?
Right, but he was making direct eye contact with me, and I'm
We-
thinking he was talking about me and him, and I'm like, no, nephew.
So I was going to say, people in general, the one thing that I cannot stand is if you say we as if you were part of the team. I do the same thing, but it's annoying to myself because if you say, hey, the Browns, we need to do better, and we need to do better. We need to come up with a better run game. Like, you're not a coach, man. Like, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show and watch the athletes do that. But Thanksgiving for me, played softball in the morning, of course, because that's all I do now. I have a slight problem. Played softball Thanksgiving morning because I'm better at softball than I am football, so I played in my turkey bowl. I hit a dinger. They're testing me for PEDs come Friday, playing in the tournament Saturday in the snow, out in the rain. Why am I crazy? What am I doing in life?
You're playing in the rain, dude. You're not going to play.
We're going to
Right.
You're not going to play. You're going to get canceled.
Really think so?
Yeah.
You're going to take this special moment away from me?
Absolutely am.
Are you jealous?
No, I do not want to play softball, especially on your team, especially in the cold rain on a weekend morning.
Weekend morning? It's not a weekday morning, though, so, I mean, that's a plus. Like, just wake up. You'd play darts early.
No, I play at night.
But anyways, that was Thanksgiving. Obviously, sports world is changing week by week with COVID. So, hopefully, games end up not being bumped back and the NFL ends up just surviving throughout this. And while I do want to end up going, I just ended up remembering this too. Who saw or watched any of the Mike Tyson fight with him coming back in?
I did. It was terrible.
I'm happy I didn't.
It was so bad. There was not a single significant strike landed at all.
But to give him credit, though, I mean, he's a 54-year-old man that still didn't want to give up
And
on
Roy
his
Jones
passion.
Jr. is a 50-something-year-old man that was able to evade him.
It's true, but, like, I'm looking at it like it's just a passion that he wanted to fight. He got his fight. He got an opportunity.
And I heard he smoked some of the devil's lettuce beforehand, too.
Oh
He
yeah,
also
that's not
owns,
the
like,
first
a cannabis
time.
company too, I think.
Yep.
They said.
Before he got into a fight with Evander Holyfield and he ripped his ear off, you can watch the Mike Tyson documentary. He was burning from chlamydia, and he was so pissed off he wanted to hurry up and get that fight over with so he can take an antibiotic.
Damn.
Dead serious. He's in the corner and he's sweating because of the STD that he had, and
What are you saying,
They're
though,
not.
Brian?
He owns 3 cannabis shops where he.
Does it really?
Yep, he was on a Snoop Dogg GGN show on YouTube.
Most of his money right now actually comes from cannabis.
It comes
Yeah,
straight from
that's-
cannabis
I wouldn't
because
be
it calms
surprised.
me down. It calms me down because I don't want to punch nobody in their face.
Lucrative business.
It is. Does that have anything to do with CB Delight?
Delight Cafe CBD?
Does it?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
Keeps you
But it keeps calm, balanced,
and delight.
and delight. Well, on that note, everybody, thank you for joining the We Lie Sportz Podcast. We will see you this Sunday live from First Stop, 11 o'clock till 12:45, right before kickoff. Browns versus Titans. Come up, get your Broman burgers, get your wings, get your wraps, get your salads if you're into doing salads at the bar.
Play some
and
darts with
beer.
us.
And we're playing some darts, yeah.
We got
Come on up.
Brian, we got you got me.
Absolutely.
We
Come
got
on
a
up.
good time.
Take us home.
Hang out with the We Like Sports Podcast Saturday, 11 to 12:45. Make sure you wear your mask things, though, because those are important when you're in public. Obviously, follow the restrictions. We'll deal with that as is. We'll come out, have fun, talk sports, guy, girl, doesn't matter what you do, what you want, what you are. Come out. The invite is there. But anyways, that's it for the We Like Sportz podcast. Find us on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. Podcast format, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor. Give us a listen on the go. Watch us in video form, too. And you can see us under the lights right now with these fancy white lights under the lights. I thought we had a power outage, so I was super confused. But anyways, find us anywhere.
We'll be doing this for our last segment because it puts Riggs right to sleep.
Yeah, I can't work and it's dark in here. Like, this light's not helping.
Well,
I got complacent.
We're going to tuck Riggs in for the night.
Fuck this light. Oh, God.
On that note, before we get canceled, we're going to go off the air. Riggs, what are you going to
I'm going to apologize, and I'm going to manscape with the promo code SPORTZ with the Z. SPORTZ. I'm sorry, and I love you. Oh, God.
And if he swore and offended the kids, we're sorry.
Sorry.
Manscaped. Use the promo code SPORTZ with a Z. SPORTZ. Ball toner, ball deodorant, ball shaver. And you get a nice bag to shave your hairy bag. Manscaped.